else, but also just like every day, every week, what are those little things that deplete you of your happiness and downgrade your happiness? Hi, welcome to the Daily Bliss. This is Christine, your emotion coach, and I'm so excited that you're here. I am giving you the highly sensitive spin on what Brendan Burchard does live, well, not live, every day in his Growth app during the Daily Fire. He gives us a prompt, and today's is happiness depleters. So, let me give you mine, right? Yes, of course, there's always a journaling prompt. I love my journaling prompts. So, yeah, today it's just a matter of grabbing your journals and writing down what depletes me of happiness, what downgrades my happiness, right? And then, right, the big thing that I have noticed, there are two different kind of things, right? There are the things that I can do something about that I can probably change a little bit, at least somewhat, right? Like one for me is my schedule, right? If I overbook myself, if I overschedule myself, then that depletes my happiness, right? It depletes because I don't like having super busy days where I'm rushing from one thing to another. I like to schedule a little bit of downtime in between. I like to schedule a little bit of bliss time in between, right? So busy schedules. And I know sometimes you can help it, sometimes you can't. Right now, I'm definitely in a phase of my life where my schedule is a bit more hectic than I would like it to be because I'm a single mom of an almost 7-year-old. Birthday's next week. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So that is one of the things I can do a little something about, right? I can at least say, okay, I can do this, this, and this, right? Or also, as I'm working still as a massage therapist and coach, I get to say, how much am I coaching? How much am I massaging? How far am I driving for these massages? How many house calls am I booking myself for massage, right? I have some control over this. I remember back to like my teenage years having the Sunday evening blues. Are y'all familiar with these? Does anybody else have the Sunday evening blues? Tell me in the comments. Also, if you're writing in while I'm going live, I love you for it. Thank you so much for engaging. I can't multitask. I'll get so distracted if I try to read what you're writing in. So I always love. I try to do it like right as I'm ending. I can see your comments. I always love your comments. So please also, once the video is done, comment after the video so that we have those lovely comments and that we get to share it with other highly sensitives who are getting to this video after it's done being live, right? See, now I've already forgotten my point. Yes, I told you to write in the comments if you've ever had the Sunday evening blues, or if there's a different day for you, if your week is different, right? Now, on purpose, I usually take Mondays off, right? I take Mondays to like catch up on a whole bunch of stuff, but have me time, even when I'm running errands. But I don't have to be somewhere at a scheduled time. It's already much easier for me, right? So now I have no more Sunday evening blues because I have scheduled. Well, I mean, I work on Sundays now, but therefore I don't work on Mondays. So I don't have that Sunday evening blues. But I notice that for me, I work a lot with my calendar. I actually love looking at my calendar and making sure that I'm leaving myself little pockets of time, little times to recharge, little times for me, little times for bliss, little times for journaling and integration, little time for nap if I need it, right? So I love looking at my schedule, at my calendar. But if there ever is a day, because I'm like, oh, yes, I know this client needs to see me. I don't want him to wait for another week. I can't get him in. Let me schedule him. There are sometimes happen to be days that are just like hugely overwhelming. And so if I've scheduled myself a day like this, it's like I feel it. It feels like this like dark thing, this dark circle in my calendar, or it feels like this just heaviness in my calendar, this like constriction on my calendar, and I feel it, right? I feel it. And once it's done and you don't want to change it, you don't want to let anybody down, you also have the choice of changing your mindset around it, of changing what it means to you, right? your inner self-talk, right? It's going to matter whether you say, oh, you're so stupid, Christine. Why did you do that? Why do you do this all the time to yourself? Granted, sometimes let it out. Journal about it. Get yourself in a better brain space about it. I sometimes definitely go there. But then I come back around and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember why I did this. I really wanted to be there for this client, or I really needed the money for the end of this week, or I really do enjoy serving, or sometimes even just like anxiety around like seeing a new client in their space for the first time, that can definitely evoke anxiety for me. And I'm like, why did you do this on like such a busy day? But then I've learned how to calm myself, how to soothe myself. If there's one thing that has helped me so much, particularly as a highly sensitive, it's been self-talk. Teaching myself how to soothe myself, how to talk to myself, how to be my own best friend, how to have my own back. That has been so valuable for me. So let's come back around, right? We're talking about happiness dictators. What is it for you that steals just a bit of happiness from you, right? I've given you kind of an example of each. I've given you an example of something I could change, I could do something about, and then something I can't do anything about. Like, for example, there's another one. When my kid's in a grumpy mood, oh my gosh, that will very quickly get me out of a happy mood, right? I could just be bipping along. The morning is great. I'm doing so fantastic. My kid wakes up, and from the first moment of his eyes opening, he's just going to be contrary to everything I say or do or need from him, right? To get ready and get out the door. That can definitely very quickly turn my happiness into not so happy, right? But then again, I have to say, is there something I can change about that, right? Or is there something I can change my mindset about that? And in that case, it's definitely the mindset, because if you have a kid, you can't just tell them, that you can't just tell them, stop being grumpy, that usually emphasizes it. And when you point it out, you can try to be playful, but sometimes they also just don't want to be lifted up and out of a grumpy mood. I know I sometimes don't want to be lifted out of a grumpy mood, so I just let him have his grumpy mood, and I remember that every emotion is valuable, and the best thing I can really do in that moment is to hold the space, to be there for him, to allow his emotions, right? Especially as highly sensitive, so often we are where we are right now because we've had adults, parents who just didn't know that the thing that we needed was just the validation to be okay to be in our own feelings, to say, I get it, you're upset, you have a reason and a right to be upset, or I get it, you're moody right now, it's okay, I love you anyway, right? When we can just allow others to have their moods, and we can decide that, hey, yes, initially that feels like it's downgrading my happiness, but then a switch comes on that reminds me, oh, hey, I am responsible for my own happiness. And also, I'm on a vibrational wavelength. He's on a vibrational wavelength. Why do I decide to come join him on his, right? I can also just choose to be the one who is just emanating, right? Radiating love, radiating acceptance, radiating joy, radiating playfulness. You can decide in that moment to amp up your own emotions, right? Remember to go download my guide if you haven't yet, of how to shift any emotion. There are 3 simple but super powerful steps that you can take so that you can start to be the master of your own emotions. All right, let's wrap up. I've got a kiddo to pick up from school. Talking about kiddos, what else steals my happiness? Definitely when I don't feel connected to my partner, right? Right now, my boyfriend and I don't live together yet, but we're moving in soon. But every morning we're on the phone, and depending on how that conversation goes, sometimes we just don't vibe. And that can quickly get me into now I don't feel so great. Really? Did he just have to mess up my morning? I was feeling so good before he called, right? So then let's not blame. And let's just decide, okay, I can decide to let it go, right? Then you can do that work around how can I still feel connected? How can I move on with my day? How can I lift myself into a better mood again, right? Those are the kind of things that get me out of my happy state. So yeah, today we're approaching happiness from the other side, right? So many times, that's one of the first thing I work on with my coaching clients is to make that list, right? That like, what feels good to you? What is the thing, right? Because we want to build more of those things into your day, into every week, deliberately, even if it's just 5 minutes. Everybody's got 5 minutes a day to activate bliss, to activate happiness, to just feel good in the moment, right? One of the things for me is just laying in a hammock. Oh my gosh, there's something about just that subtle movement, that just weightlessness, that timelessness, that just closing my eyes, being out in nature, feeling the sunshine, feeling the light breeze, right? Hearing the wind rustle through the leaves. Ah, so soothing, right? What is it for you that brings you bliss? Something you can build into every single day. And then, yes, identify what steals that happiness from you, what downgrades that happiness, and put one in the comments below so we can share. All right? Thanks so much for joining today, and I will see you tomorrow.